All right, so the man Rocky Dawuni is in the building. Rocky, thank you so much for coming. It's Corona, so I could just do fist. As you can see, the social distancing is right there. Thank you so much for coming. And
it's a pleasure to be invited on your show too. So thank you.
I am humbled, man. It's overwhelming having to see you here because we used to watch you on our TVs and hear you on radio, and now you are seated right here. How are you doing?
I am doing wonderful. You know, I can't ask for, a better time in my life. You know, I have a new EP out.
That's right.
As a musician, you're always
working.
You're always working. I am in one of my creative, shall I say, moments right now as an artist. And, in terms of when it comes to activism, all the work that I'm doing, despite the fact that, we are the touring season for most acts like myself.
That's right.
It's not going on this year, but there's a lot of virtual events that has, kept us busy, till now. So I will say that I'm really, really, happy. And I'm home too.
Yeah, I was going to mention that because we know you to be out of the country most of the time because of the work you do, and clearly you've been home for some time. How long has this been? This has been from...
Well, there are things that I moved back here.
All right, so now you're settled here.
Yeah. I'm based here. I'm based in Ghana, and then also when the whole lockdown happened, I was right here when it happened. So I just took it as
a sign,
to spend time here, work on other things that I was interested in, connect with family. Eat a lot of local food that usually I have to travel and come back, and just basically, and then observing, what was going on in Ghana. I mean, I always kept my eyes on it, but just taking a much more deeper look in what was going on here, So
wow,
amazing.
It's interesting because you've been in this business for a very long time, and you've seen the young cats come and go and all that. Currently, where you sit, as I can see you are now a coach, because I'm sure some of the youngest come to you to seek for advice and all that. When you look at the music industry, the Ghanaian music industry, especially in the genre where you have championed in, what is your initial comments about that space?
Oh, my initial comments are that, right now we are in a time when the music, not only Ghanaian music, but also music around Africa has gotten like a lot more, shall I say, high profile, especially because of the internet too.
That's right.
Because the internet became a great equalizer. At first you needed to release a record, get a label outside of your country who can release you in those territories. But then now all of those territories have become one brave world because of the internet. So when you release an album and it's on the internet, it just cuts across borders. So it's come with a lot of opportunities for African music to make an impact because you don't have gatekeepers. So with that new paradigm, I have seen that, our music too has been making a lot of inroads. There's so many of our artists right now, I mean, I can't even count them, who are, with each of their release, they don't only make impact within Ghana, they are making impact in different parts across the world. So I think we are in a golden era of music in Ghana and in Africa, but it's also all about how we recognize what is in our hands and organize ourselves enough, and also have a systemic support too for it, and a plan of action to move it forward. That's when we can be able to take very broad, what's it called? We can take this opportunity and be able to utilize it, and then utilize it properly for us to put our music where it should be. Yes.
I mean, with your experience and time in the music industry, you've seen a lot of administration that handle our music come and go. You've seen the different types and different shape. Looking at what it was before and where we are now, do you think that the system has been set up properly to serve the interests of our musicians and putting them on that global pedestal?
Well, that's a hard thing for me to say because I feel like the efforts have come from the individual musicians themselves, because even when I was coming up, there was never any institutional set up support. I mean, there is maybe certain support that come through maybe the government, through certain agencies and all of that. But it's not like, let's say, the Francophone countries where, you have, it's a very kind of,
structured.
Yes, structured, well-structured system that talent is nurtured, talent is also given the right, shall I say, managerial systems. Let's say all the Ivorian musicians that I knew even when we were coming up, I mean, all of them within a short period of time, when you, chalk some kind of success in your country, you see right to France. You're playing in front of management companies, booking agencies, French system of pushing artists. So you get right from the country into that system.
And so it's like an academy setup, more or less.
Yeah, an academy setup, but also like, a line of success, because you need all these, you need the right booking agency, you need the right label, you need the right marketing, and you need the right people with the right channels to plug you in for the music to be disseminated in its widest, what's it called, in the widest possible way. But we did not have that. It has to be an artist. You release your record, you have to figure out with your own management, because a lot of times we didn't have those set up record labels here. So either you have to figure out how to maybe latch onto some record label in Europe or somewhere
US.
to license the work, or you push it yourself. So I felt that here it was more of individual efforts, but I think that has been lessened by the internet, where you can go directly to YouTube, you can put your work on all these platforms within a day of your release, and then by the following day people around the world can access it. So to some extent it has lessened the dependence on those institutions, but those institutions are still critical, to make sure that
the music is out there.
Exactly, the music is out there, and also the talent is well nurtured, because you need a team to take raw talent and be able to kind of nurture that talent and present it in a way that talent can be able to become world class and also be able to compete with all the other styles and music out there.
Would you say that is what Nigeria is doing to their artists? Because
Nigeria has
anytime
been
you see a
doing
new
that.
artist from Nigeria,
Yes.
immediately we see them, in this global spaces you speak of. But
Yes.
or some Ghanaians believe that Ghanaians are actually doing their best, putting their best songs forward, but they don't have the plugs.
Well, the thing is that it's hard to compare ourselves to Nigeria. First of all, when you look at the demographics, the
market is huge.
Yeah, the market is huge. So we are a country of, let's say, 25 to 30 million,
That's right.
To be conservative.
Yeah.
And then Nigeria is, about four times, 5 times that number. So in Nigeria, you have also kind of a musical economy that is within. When you see even Nigerian artists play outside of Nigeria, concerts that are Nigerian artists, even the Nigerian population in cities like Los Angeles, London, and all of that, can sell out a Nigerian artist, but you don't have that kind of numbers of Ghanaians living in those places as compared. So for Nigerians, there's all those factors really supported. And Nigeria also had institutions from a long time, because all the major record companies in the US always had representatives within Nigeria. Even during the times when Nigeria was going through turmoil and all of that, you still had those institutions. So artists like Fela Kuti, Ebenezer Obey, those foundational artists, Sonny Ade, all of them, by the time they established themselves in Nigeria, there was kind of a clear path, management systems and all of that to help them to be able to, leapfrog into markets in Europe and also markets in the Americas, because those markets, first of all, there was a heavy number of Nigerian communities there who could support those artists to be successful in those markets, in addition to the success that they had in their own countries. So it's the setup was much more, shall I say, robust than ours. In ours, we never really had those labels. Labels were individual efforts and all of it. So it's very hard when we try to directly compare.
Too. So you're saying that the success of Nigerian music now is not just today, it's something that has been set up way ahead of its time.
Way ahead.
The
of
youngins
its
are just
time.
benefiting of
They're
it.
just benefiting from what has been created over the years, and then also the success of Nigerian artists in terms of making the pathway. You know, Fela Kuti was a very successful touring artist.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, King Sunny Ade was a very successful touring artist. Sunny Ade was signed to Island Records, you know. So, you know, you have a lot of Nigerians, you know, when even Sheun, what's it called, Femi came out, you know, it was through Barclay, France, you know. So, and then Fela had, you know, some of the best management, you know, to manage him and bring him through France, which was like a hub of African music,
yes.
especially when you think of African music to Europe. So the jumping point was not as tedious as a Ghanaian artist who, first of all, you have to be able to have an agent, you know, an agent who can be able to push you, plug you in there. So for you to, you know, you're trying to even record your albums, and then how much more have the ability to attract the eye of those agencies when you don't even have the, shall I say, the critical mass of support even within your own country to go there and be like, hey, you know, I'm being backed by, let's say, 50 million people who like my music, so you better take me serious. You know, your population is not even that much to be able to make that kind of impact. So I think that we were, one way or the other, we had the ability to ignite, to set the tone for the sound and the music, you know, and you know,
and we
music
didn't capitalize on the market.
you know, but we couldn't capitalize on the market. And then at the same time too, our market was so fragmented because it was not organized. It was not like a business idea. And it was also not backed by strong, I believe, government support to make sure that we're going to push this and put the capital that is needed to make it equal to other countries. There was never any governmental support on that level to make sure that we reach that stage. I mean, you know, I was reading something about Kwame Nkrumah, you know, recently about how, you know, art was very important
to him.
And then when he came to power, he saw the importance of like really seeing high life also as a brand to push it, because your culture is who you are. And you can't have a national identity devoid of culture. You know, so if you create a national identity and your cultural aspect is weak, and you don't invest in that culture because you think you have rich culture, so the culture can be able to
speak for itself.
Then, you know, then you are making a mistake. You know, it has to be marketed, and not marketed only based upon, oh, you know, this artist supports our ideology or ideal, or he's from my tribe, or something, so I have to support him, and that kind of thing. It has to be from finding the gems that are in your culture and then pushing those gems, and then you build it from there. And then from there, as they are making impact, then you also put a marketing campaign around all of them. And as you do that, you know, because when we even start to quantify how much artists, even like myself, had contributed to the GDP of this country. It's something that cannot be put in numbers, because for years and years we play in stages, we talk about Ghana, we fly the flag. There's so many people who, through exposure to your music and who you are and what you're talking about, they'll go and look for your country and eventually travel to come to your country or tell their friends about your country and come and spend money in your country and help push your economy forward. You know, so arts and, you know, our arts and culture has been our arm to the world, our face to the rest of the world. And I believe, I just appeal to our leaders to give it that respect and attention. And that seriousness. And it's not also seriousness that is based upon, oh, you know, okay, we are putting this money into arts this year. You know, putting money into art does not mean that you are putting money into the right systems. You know, so if you don't have the right system set, it's just you pour, you know, a bunch of money in, it just goes in the drain, and then it just goes out somewhere without it being able to do what it's meant to do. So I feel that there needs to be a national consensus, a national, shall I say, talk about how we can move this art forward. And it has to be, we have to make it devoid of party allegiance, politics, and somebody, you know, because the last time I was here on the radio, oh, this person is the It's
the
the
head of
arts,
this-
for this
Yeah.
political party. This person is. I'm like, since when did our art become something that has to be deliberated by various political consensus? Art is above
that.
politics. Art is national heritage. Art is who we are. So when we talk about it, we should peel it off
the
all of
political
those
biases.
colorings and go to the nitty gritty and push our art forward, because it will be beneficial for all of us and for our economy.